The sounds of 1962 defined a generation. Today, we're diving into the hits that shaped music history when gas was 31 cents a gallon and tensions with Cuba had America on edge. Ray Charles revolutionized music with I Can't Stop Loving You in 1962, a country ballad that became the year's best-selling single. Charles, who lost his sight completely by age 7, began his career in the late 1940s, playing in jazz bands across Florida. His decision to record a country album outraged his record label executives, who feared he would alienate his predominantly black audience. Charles stood firm, famously telling Atlantic Records, "I'm doing this album. If you don't want it, I'll go elsewhere." The gamble paid off spectacularly.
I made up my mind to live in memory.
Modern sounds in country and western music transformed both country music and Charles' career, selling over 1 million copies within months of release. Charles continued pushing boundaries throughout his 5-decade career, winning 17 Grammy Awards before his death in 2004. His recording studio practices were notoriously strict. Musicians report that Charles could identify who played wrong notes despite his blindness, often stopping sessions to correct mistakes by specific players. His ear was so precise that sound engineers would consult him on technical mixing decisions. The Loco-Motion by Little Eva took dancers by storm in 1962, though few knew the singer's true backstory.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the Loco-Motion.
Eva Boyd, born in 1943 in North Carolina, was working as a babysitter for songwriters Carole King and Jerry Goffin when they heard her singing to their children. The song was originally intended for Dee Dee Sharp, who had turned it down. The little-known truth is that Boyd was paid just $50 for the recording session and continued working as the King Goffin's babysitter even after the song topped the charts. It took a lawsuit years later for her to receive appropriate royalties for her work. Despite selling millions of records, Boyd's career was relatively short-lived. After a few follow-up hits, she returned to North Carolina in the late 1960s and largely disappeared from the music scene. Financial mismanagement left her working as a housekeeper in her later years, though she occasionally performed on 1960s revival tours. Boyd passed away in 2003 from cervical cancer at the age of 59, never fully benefiting from her contribution to music history. The song itself has proven more enduring than her career, becoming one of the few songs to reach #1 by 3 different artists in 3 different decades. Mashed Potato Time by Dee Dee Sharp topped the charts in 1962, capitalizing on the dance craze of the same name. Dion LaRue, her birth name, was just 17 years old when she recorded the hit, having been discovered while singing backup vocals for Chubby Checker. Sharp's path to stardom wasn't without controversy. Cameo Parkway Records changed her name without permission and altered her appearance on album covers to appear lighter-skinned, a common but problematic marketing practice in the early 1960s music industry. Sharp's career took unexpected turns after her dance hits faded from popularity. She married Kenny Gamble of Gamble and Huff fame, becoming instrumental in the development of the Philadelphia sound that dominated soul music in the 1970s. After their divorce, Sharp returned to college, earning a psychology degree from the University of Pennsylvania while continuing to perform. In recent years, she's become an outspoken critic of how record companies treated black female artists in the 1960s, revealing that she received less than $100 for Mashed Potato Time despite its million-selling status. Hey music lovers, share your memories in the comments below. If this stroll down memory lane brings back good times, hit that like button and subscribe for more classic hits from your generation. Now, let's keep the music playing. Bobby Vinton's Roses Are Red, My Love dominated the airwaves in 1962, spending 4 weeks at #1. Vinton, born Stanley Robert Vinton in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania in 1935, nearly missed his chance at stardom. After serving in the Army, Vinton formed his own band, but struggled to make it big. What few fans know is that Epic Records had actually dropped him from their label when he asked to record one last single with $800 of his own money. The label reluctantly agreed, expecting nothing, and Vinton proved them wrong with a chart-topping hit.
Roses are red, my love, violets are blue.
Vinton went on to become one of the most successful male vocalists of the 1960s, with hits like Blue Velvet and Mr. Lonely, earning him the nickname the Polish Prince. Unlike many artists of his era who faded away, Vinton invested his earnings wisely, opening Vinton's Music Hall in Branson, Missouri, where he performed regularly until retiring in 2018. He famously turned down the lead role in the TV show Kojak, which went to Telly Savalas because he didn't want to disrupt his music career, a decision he later admitted regretting. Shelley Fabares topped the charts with Johnny Angel in 1962, despite having virtually no professional singing experience before recording it.
You're an angel to me.
Fabares was already famous for her role as Mary Stone on the hit TV show The Donna Reed Show, when producers decided to capitalize on her popularity with a recording career. The behind-the-scenes reality was far from glamorous. Fabares was terrified of singing and later admitted she was in tears before recording sessions. The producers had to record her voice in small segments and splice the tape together because she couldn't make it through an entire take without her voice shaking. Fabares never wanted to be a singer, focusing instead on her acting career, which spanned decades. After the Donna Reed Show, she starred in 3 Elvis Presley films and later played Craig T. Nelson's wife on the long-running sitcom Coach from 1989 to 1997. In 1994, Fabares underwent a liver transplant after contracting autoimmune hepatitis, becoming an outspoken advocate for organ donation awareness. Now in her late 70s, Fabares has expressed amusement at her unexpected music career, noting that her one-hit song has followed her throughout her life, despite recording it reluctantly. Hey friends, what memories do these songs bring back for you? Don't keep those stories to yourself. Share them in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. Now, let's continue our journey through the greatest hits of 1962. Let Me In by The Sensations climbed the charts in 1962, showcasing the tight harmonies of this Philadelphia vocal group. Formed in 1954, the group struggled for years before finding success. The Sensations consisted of Yvonne Mills, Jeanette Mills, and Alfonso Howell, with lead singer Yvonne Baker providing the distinctive vocals that made their sound instantly recognizable. What music historians often overlook is how the group was repeatedly denied opportunities because Baker, as a female lead singer, refused to adopt the sexualized image that record executives push for, instead maintaining the group's focus on vocal harmonies. After their brief success in the early 1960s, the Sensations disbanded as the British invasion changed American musical tastes. Baker attempted a solo career that never gained traction, while the other members returned to day jobs and local performances. Unlike many vocal groups of the era, the Sensations members remained close friends throughout their lives, occasionally reuniting for anniversary performances until Baker's death in 1996. Their influence extended beyond their chart success, with their vocal arrangement style influencing later Philadelphia soul groups. Chubby Checker's The Twist returned to number 1 in 1962, making music history as the only song to top the charts in 2 different years, first in 1960, then again in 1962.
Come on, baby, let's do the twist. Take me by my little hand.
Ernest Evans, born in 1941 in South Carolina, was working at a poultry shop in Philadelphia when he was discovered. His manager's wife gave him the name Chubby Checker as a play on Fats Domino. The song's unprecedented comeback occurred because the dance initially popular with teenagers had been discovered by adult audiences, including celebrities at New York's Peppermint Lounge, making it acceptable for older dancers who had previously dismissed it as a teenage fad. Checker has continued performing for over 6 decades, though he's publicly expressed bitterness about his typecasting as the twist guy. Despite introducing numerous other dance crazes like the fly and the pony, none achieved the same cultural impact. In recent years, Checker has become vocal about what he perceives as a lack of recognition from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, pointing out that his music changed dance culture forever. At 82, he still performs dozens of shows annually and has ventured into business with his own line of beef jerky and snack foods. Dick Clark later admitted he initially didn't want Checker to record the twist, believing a cover version wouldn't succeed. The original version by Hank Ballard and the Midnighters had been a minor hit on the B-side of another record. The dance itself caused moral panic in 1962, with several cities attempting to ban it and Catholic schools forbidding students from performing it. The Vatican newspaper specifically condemned the dance as morally unacceptable, which only increased its popularity among rebellious dancers of all ages. Soldier Boy by the Shirelles captured the hearts of Americans in 1962 as the Vietnam conflict was escalating.
Soldier boy, oh my little soldier boy.
The group formed in Passaic, New Jersey in 1957 when the members were still in high school, becoming one of the first successful girl groups in rock and roll. The Shirelles, Shirley Owens, Doris Coley, Addie Harris, and Beverly Lee broke racial and gender barriers in the music industry, though their success came at a cost. Their record label, Scepter Records, controlled by Florence Greenberg, kept the group on exploitative contracts that paid them minimal royalties despite multiple #1 hits. The young women, without business experience or representation, saw only a fraction of the profits their music generated. After their chart success faded in the mid-1960s, the Shirelles continued performing for decades with various lineup changes. Beverly Lee eventually secured the rights to the group's name after legal battles and continued touring with new members into the 2000s. Their influence on music is immeasurable. They were among the first inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996, recognized for paving the way for countless female vocal groups that followed. Their sophisticated harmonies directly influenced later artists, from the Supremes to the Beatles, who covered several Shirelles songs in their early performances. Soldier Boy struck an emotional chord with Americans as young men were being drafted into military service. The song's popularity among military families was so strong that the Shirelles were invited to perform at USO shows for troops, though most Americans didn't realize the song was actually written by their record label owner, Florence Greenberg, and her daughter, Mary Jane Greenberg, neither of whom had any military connection. The group later revealed they felt pressured to record the song, despite having reservations about its simplistic lyrics compared to their earlier, more substantial hits. And there you have it, the sounds that defined 1962. Share this video with friends who remember these classics, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments below.